Alright guys, welcome back. Right, in today's episode I'm going to be restoring some plug covers. Now, those that know me know I've got a bit of a fetish for these. I like to bring them back to former glory, shall we say. This one my friend acquired from a car boot sale really recently for just £5. As you can see, it's in really poor condition. It looks like it's lived in the bottom of an ocean. However, I think I can make it look nice again. So I said to him, can I have the challenge of restoring this for you? And he said, yes, of course he can. He's also got this, which was restored about 10 years ago. It's in good condition, but it's got a little bit of corrosion around the letters now. Now this is off his Astra GSI Mark III, which is a fairly original example. Needs a bit of restoration, but it will be going back on his car one day. And this is going to be a spare for him, so he's going to have the matching pair. So in today's episode, I'm going to clean these back, paint them, polish the letters, lacquer them, and make them look brand new again, hopefully. So these are removed from a C20XE or a C20LET, which is an iconic engine from the 80s, 90s, known as a Vauxhall Redtop engine. Called a Redtop because of the red top. This is the spark plug cover. On the earlier ones like these, the aluminium, the later ones are plastic. These are the really sought after ones. Obviously, being aluminium though, they do corrode a little bit. But the beauty of these is you can machine polish them and make them look brand new again. Now this is a slightly later plug cover. This is a plastic type. You can tell the difference, A, because when you look closely at the plastic, and B, because the lettering style is different. All the aluminium ones say double overhead cam 16 valve here, but the later ones always say it here. The really late ones don't even say Vauxhall, they literally say Ecotech and it's just got a Vauxhall badge. So these are the most sought after, these are the okay ones, the late ones are black and they've kind of lost it by that point. So I'm going to strip these back, and to do that I'm going to start with some heavy duty paint stripper. Now this stuff is proper toxic, proper nasty. It even says take care on the lid. So you don't want to be messing around with this stuff. So because of that, I'm wearing 2 sets of gloves. I've got my arms covered and I'm also going to be wearing glasses. So I'm going to start off by using a plastic scraper and remove some of the loose paint. Just like so. So I'm going to remove the loose stuff, and then on top of that, I'm going to put the heavy duty paint stripper. Now the reason I'm using a plastic scraper is I don't want to scratch the aluminium too much. I could just go in with a screwdriver or a wire wheel, but I don't really want to damage it because it's obviously quite soft. So I figured doing it this way would work really well. It should prevent any further damage. As you can hopefully see, the paint's coming off really easily. So I'm quite pleased about that. Obviously the stuff that I can't get off, paint stripper should do it. Now this literally came out of a car boot sale for £5. Now, might not look in very good condition, but that is a proper bargain. Once this is painted, it's going to be worth probably 80 quid. At least 50 to 60. They're getting quite rare now. So that's all the loose stuff off. This is a little bit more stubborn. I'm going to put some paint stripper on this and leave it for a while and see what happens. This one, because it's in much better condition, I'm not going to try and scrape any of it off because it's all adhered really well. I'd imagine that's an original like powder coat this, whereas this has been painted in the past. So yeah, as you can see, it's not really coming off, so I'm just going to go straight on this with paint stripper. So I'm wearing goggles. I'm going to follow the instructions on this. So you literally pour a little bit into a separate tub like so. I'd imagine this is like a heavy duty nitromors. And then you just brush it on and leave it. So here's an old brush I had laying around. Off I begin. I've never used this stuff before. I've used nitromors. I've been told this is much more potent, shall we say. So we'll see what it does. So straight away you can see it bubbling off. Clearly working a treat. I'm going to do both sides. because I want to remove all the material. Alright, this has been on, what, 2 minutes tops, and look what it's doing to the paint. Very, very impressive. So I'm going to leave that maybe half an hour or so and then come back to it. So this is at about 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's really working. I've agitated the top layer of paint a little bit, just with the scraper, because it seems to only do a layer at a time, but it's really working well. There's not a lot left of this. I'm hoping I can give it a bit of a scrape again, maybe a pressure wash, maybe give it another coat, and it's all going to come off really nicely. Alright guys, so it's been a couple of days. This has had a few coats of paint stripper, and I've light sand down, and as you can see, it's come out pretty good. This has also had the paint stripper, but it hasn't been sanded down yet, so I thought I'd demonstrate this one on camera, purely for the fact it's the most corroded and the worst one. Now what I found really interesting is the paint stripper only seems to remove one layer of paint at a time. So because this has been lacquered, and it had quite a few coats, it seemed to just do a layer at a time. So I found the best thing to do was to lightly scratch the item first. So I've just gone over with light abrasive sandpaper, just go over the top, and it really helped get the paint off. This one, I think this is an original powder coat, and that came off a lot easier. Obviously the fact it's corroded's probably helped as well. So the next job is to continue cleaning this and make it look as shiny as this. Now I found using some 240 Abranet cloth worked really well, along with a quite soft stainless steel wire brush. Obviously the wire brush goes really well inside the letters. Does a nice job being quite soft and fine, it's not scratching the hell out of it. Now this won't be the finishing sandpaper, but I'm just trying to get the corrosion off. I'm going to go with 600 on top of this. I've got some 400 as well. But just to get the corrosion off, I'm going to start with these. As you can see, cleans out the letters really well. And already, that looks a lot better. So as you can see, a lot better already. Now I'm going to do the rest off camera because it's a little bit boring. But hopefully, next time you see this, it's going to look a little bit more like this. So I'm now going to go over with a 400 Abranet cloth on a sanding block. The reason I'm doing this is obviously a bit finer, so it'll give a better finish, but also I want to use the block to get the letters really level. So that way when I paint it, it'll be easier to sand it back. So I'm literally, take the time like that. So it's looking loads better now, as you can see. I'm going to carry on doing it, take my time, try and get rid of the darker spots on the letters, and then I'll go over it with a 600, which is even finer, obviously. Onto the Vauxhall one. Right guys, I've got a little project lined up for my garage wall. I want to make a little bit of a C20XE, C20LET art, shall we say. So I need a rocker cover. Now condition doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's got a little crack in it or anything like that. Doesn't matter if it's really corroded. But I need a rocker cover just for the garage wall. So if anybody knows of one, let me know in the comments below, please. I think they will do. Using the best oven gloves. Don't tell anyone. Very nice indeed. Quick panel wipe and they're ready for paint. Again, standard pre-wipe degreaser, normal panel wipe. Yeah, so they should be really good anyway, because I've just washed them with soapy water and I've used Scotch Brite. So they shouldn't really have any dirt left. They're nice and warm, a little bit too hot to touch if I'm honest. So that means the primer's going to dry really quick, which is what I wanted. I'm just going to go over it with normal etch primer, Opel standard stuff, just to give the 2K some kind of something to stick to, really, that's all. See, I'm happy with them. Give it a shake. Now, sadly, you can probably just see both plug covers are actually cracked around the fittings. Nothing serious, just a hairline crack, but it's a little bit annoying. Hopefully, once they're painted properly, you're not going to see that. Must be a common issue. As you can see, because these are nice and warm, like I say, a little bit too hot to touch, paint's drying straight away, which is what we wanted. Right, I'm going to mix the paint now. So, it's standard 2K direct gloss, so you mix it 2 to 1. It's her. I don't need a lot, so I'm just going to make a little bit. I'm going to make the smallest amount. Hopefully that'll be okay. Beautiful red, this. This is just standard hardener. Hate pouring this stuff, always make a mess. And then I tend to go with 15% thinners, because I think you can go 10 to 20, go in the middle because I'm no professional, and it always seems to work okay for me. So about there. That gives me a total of 80mm, which hopefully is enough. Once again, using my trusty steering stick, which as you can see is an old screwdriver. It's very efficient. I'm sure the professionals must love me. Right, I'm going to let that dry for 10 minutes and then give it another coat. Right, it's had 3 coats of paint now. Paint's not 100% perfect if I'm honest, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to flat it back down. These have now hardened for 72 hours. And as you can see, I've polished the letters off. Yeah, so what I did was after the paint was fully cured, I masked off the red area just to avoid scratching it. Then I used 180 Abranet cloth. Once that was done, I went over with 400 and 600 Abranet cloth. Then I demasked. Once the masking tape was removed, I then used some 1500 wet and dry, followed by 3000. I gave the whole area a good go over, just to remove any slight high spots or anything like that. So now the plan is to give them a quick pan of white, and then I'm going to put 2 or 3 layers of 2K lacquer on top. Once again, standard pre-wipe degreaser, normal pan of white, nothing fancy. Just to degrease the panel and ensure there's no fish eyes. Right, I would now say that is ready to lay some lacquer on top. So I'm going to mix the lacquer and we'll go from there. So I'm using an old mixing cup which I cleaned out the other day. Yeah, it's a little bit cheap, however, I don't have many left and they do add up. So recycled possibilities are endless, as they say. Again, we're mixing 2 to 1. This is just standard U-Pole, super clear. Works a treat and isn't too expensive. Again, normal hardener. And then I'm going to do about 10% 2K thinner. Beautiful. That gives me 160mm. Again, using my trusty steering stick. Give it a really good stir. And that is ready. Right guys, these have now had 3 coats. They're looking so much better than they were before. I'm really pleased with the final outcome. My friend who they belong to, I think, is going to love them. So yeah, I'm dead chuffed. So I just wanted to say a big thank you. We're now at over 200 subscribers, which is just really good. I'm really happy with that. I really enjoy making the content. It's really getting me motivated. I love the interaction, what I'm getting from you guys. So a big thank you from me. Please keep commenting, please liking, and I'll keep making them for you. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'll hopefully catch you next week. Thank you very much, guys, and see you later. Bye-bye.